So today's small project is changing the transmission fluid and filter on my 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I did this over 2 years ago when I bought it at 210,000 miles, and it now has over 237,000 miles on it. The only transmission fluid that I recommend you use is Mopar ATF Plus 4, and you're going to need 6 quarts. Also, get yourself a Mopar transmission fluid filter. I'm keen on preventative maintenance, so I'm replacing the accumulator spring, along with the governor pressure solenoid and governor pressure sensor. I'll leave a link to all parts in the description below.
Rocking the stupid dope mix.
You want to begin by disconnecting your negative battery cable and setting the emergency brake. The transmission pan is located next to the front drive shaft, and you may need to use rhino ramps or jack up the front end to give yourself more space. But all 14 transmission pan fasteners are out in the open and extremely easy to get to. I replaced the original pan with Dorman part number 265-839 because it's a direct fit and has a drain plug, so there's less mess involved. But if your pan is a factory original, we have no problems, only solutions. You can pick up this transfer pump from just about any part store, and it comes with two 50-inch hoses. Just push one in on the top of the pump and the other down at the bottom of the pump. Remove the transmission dipstick located behind the driver's side valve cover and stick the top hose down the tube, and put the bottom hose in the bucket or drain pan and pump the fluid out. I'm using a 17mm socket to remove the transmission pan drain plug. You'll need a 13mm socket to remove the 14 transmission pan bolts. I strongly recommend that you use the Mopar transmission pan gasket because it won't leak, it's reusable, and you don't have to worry about scraping material from the mating surfaces. This is a plastic aftermarket filter, but the original is held in place with 3 screws, and you'll need a T25 Torx screwdriver for removal. The plastic aftermarket filter I got from Napa has 2 mounting holes, but the Mopar filter has 3. I have no idea what I did with the 3rd screw, and they both work, but I feel better using the original filter. The governor pressure sensor is located towards the passenger side. You want to lift up on this tab and pull outward. Located just underneath the pressure sensor is the governor pressure solenoid. But before removing the connector, we're going to remove the solenoid housing. There's 2 T25 screws and 4 fasteners that you'll need an 11mm socket for removal. Now we have enough room to lift up on this tab and pull a connector without pulling it by the wires. The selenoid should pull straight up and out of the housing, but this one is stuck, so I'm sliding the bracket back into place and using a flathead screwdriver as leverage to pry it out. So for the first 3 gears, this 44RE is basically a hydraulically controlled transmission, and this governor solenoid controls governor pressure to the shift valve, while the computer controls governor position by sending a duty cycle signal to the solenoid. A bad solenoid can cause various shifting issues, in which case I strongly recommend a Mopar replacement. To remove the governor pressure sensor, I'm using needle nose pliers to squeeze the M-shaped retaining clip together. Then the sensor pulls straight out. And this is the governor pressure sensor with the gold and silver body that was used on your 96 to 99 models. In 2000, they went with the transducer type that's black in color, but concept and function is basically the same. The sensor provides a governor pressure feedback signal to the computer, and the computer uses that signal to monitor and adjust the governor pressure. As with anything, check to make sure your parts are identical. And when it comes to transmission sensors, it's literally Mopar or no part. Now that we have the new sensor and solenoid in place, we'll head over to the driver's side and remove the 5 T25 screws that hide the 3/4 accumulator spring. It's extremely common for this spring to be worn out, and when this is broken, there will be complete or intermittent loss of overdrive and no third or fourth shift. Replacing this spring is good measure for preventative maintenance. I only use Mopar ATF Plus 4 in my transmissions, and according to the factory service manual, you'll need 6 quarts with fluid and filter change. After starting it up, you want to check for any immediate leaks. You want to idle the engine until it reaches operating temperature. Then move the shifter through all gears a couple times. Make sure you're on level ground, then check the dipstick indicator level while the engine idles in neutral and add fluid if necessary.